Hey, this is John Carlos, and I'm here with a look at all three of the Boxtrolls Funko Pops. We got fish, shoe, and eggs. So let's go ahead and start unboxing them. Let's start off with Fish, who aside from one noticeable issue, is a really good pop. Now the issue I'm talking about here is the little plate underneath his head, that little neck to face connector plate. I hate when the plate is visible on pops, and on this one it's quite visible from the back and is right in the front. But you know, once he's on the shelf and you take a few steps back, you know, the overall shape of his head is still fine. It's just a nitpick of mine. I don't like when that plate's visible. But there are a lot of great things about this. His eyes are painted circularly very well. They're not exactly on the sculpted bump, but the shape of them is good. But his mouth looks really good. I looked at about two of these, and the other one had kind of purple paint bleeding out past the mouth. But this one's got, you know, good teeth paint. The gums are well done. The little kind of light pink line that edges his mouth looks good, and I love the fact they sculpted the inside with his uvula there and everything. I think that looks really cool. His nose paint looks really good though. Like, it's really kind of on the point. It's on the nose. But the ears, the little ear canal looks good. The way his little tuft of hair is sculpted, I like the little gray shades on his top of his head. I don't mind that little dirt there. That's pretty minor. But the sculpt of this guy overall is really good. And I love the way they've used the sort of like painted decal. I don't know if it's like glossed over with like a glue or what, but the fish logo looks great, the little fish oil thing. But I like that they've put little paint on the palm of their hands, this little pink paint, and then this dirty wash. It reminds me of the Walking Dead walkers that gives their skin kind of a grimy, trolly feel. But I like the bandages, the way they wrap around the feet. I like they painted his toes well. The paint and sculpt on this is really solid. Now let's take a look at Shoe, who was probably my favorite of the three of these, just because I really like his character. I think he's the cutest design in the movie. Again, his nose is good. His eyes are perfect. I love this little gray shape that they kind of achieved around the eye face area. It looks really good. His mouth is great. I like the way they captured his smile. I think his teeth look really good. I like the pink line around his lips. I think his hair looks awesome. I love that little top wisp sticking out. There's a few little dirty marks here, but nothing too drastic. Nothing for me to get all, you know, bitchy and whiny about. I love the shoe, little decal on the front here. I keep calling it a decal, but I don't know what it is. But I like the way his hands are sculpted to be kind of gripping the box. You can see the box has like a little indentation where he's holding it, especially on this side. But they did a good job painting like his fingernails, and again that wash on them and the kind of dirtiness that they achieved on here looks really good. Also, you may not see it, but they do have a little pink paint on the back of their elbows, so that's cool. And I love the way they handled his feet. I think they kind of got a little, you know, really crazy with the dirty wash on his feet here, but I like how dirty and grimy they make them. Even his kneecaps are painted and all kind of gross. This is awesome. Now let's take a look at Eggs, who I think has like perfectly painted eyeballs. Perfectly circle, they perfectly match the bump. His eyebrows look good. And they have little dirt smears all over his face, and I like that they included that because it looks really good. It's not, and they didn't do too much that he looks weird and diseased. Sometimes when they do like dirt or little injuries, they can be a little heavy-handed with their paint. Speaking of paint, the hair on his head for the most part is pretty good when you follow it. I mean, sometimes this can get a little messy here, but I think his bangs are really clean, really well done. It only loses a little bit of points right here when they don't fully paint that section of the hair. But I'd rather have that than like paint smears all over his face from the hair. The sculpt on his body is really good. I like the fact they included this little edge of the cardboard that's kind of broken away and you can see the little lines underneath it. And I like that they included these sculpted lines on his shirt. It's a really good little detail considering what a tiny figure it is. It even extends them to the bottom of the box. And they included his suspenders sculpted in there on the back of his pants. And I like that they painted the little buttons on here and they're perfectly painted. So good job to that. I also like the sculpt of his pants. There's a good little texture to them as well. And I love that the painting on all the bandages here all stay within the sculpt. None of the paint's really straying anywhere. So the paint quality is good, but also like the attention to detail within that paint. It's really good because it's not just a single paint color. There's like another wash over it, so it has like a two-tone kind of dirty effect. Man, I think the sculpting on this little figure, on all three, is really good, and the paint really complements it. Also worth noting is the tiny details on the artwork on the front of these boxes. You know, there's tiny lettering and little tiny pieces of artwork, you know, some of it watercolored artwork with its own details. And I think this is really cool, considering how small it is. I'm sure that, you know, Leica sent over the actual artwork to Funko so they could print it out and apply it, but just the fact that it's printed out so small and reads so well, I mean, there's some really kind of classic kind of like framings and fonts on here. So I think this all looks really cool and kind of further sells like the Boxtrolls pops. It's a detail that really like solidifies how cool they are. And I think they look rad. I mean, if you like the movie, these are super cool and super cute. I think Funko translated them to pops really well. I love them. Thanks for watching.